Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I've really missed you guys. I've been seeing you guys in the classroom and talking to you in the classroom, seeing you face to face and just interacting. This has been really, really difficult. This is the second week that we're doing this, and I hope that everybody has adjusted or has gotten comfortable, has everything that they need. I hope everybody's family is doing well. And let's go ahead and get started. Um, sorry, before we get started, just want to say that I will put the answer key to the assignments that you did last week. I just waited. I wanted to wait to let individuals get their assignments in. I know some people turned in their assignments late. Some people are still getting computers and switching to online, so that's fine. But I want to give people the opportunity to get their work turned in, so I wasn't penalizing you for getting it in late. I was told, some people reached out. I just told you just get it in. So if you didn't get it in, make sure you get in. I will post the answer keys tomorrow so that you can go ahead and make corrections, look over your work, um, save the answer key, save the work into your file, and resubmit it. All right. So today we're going to continue where we left off. We introduced variables and we introduced comparison operators, right? So comparison operators were the equal sign if x equals such and such, or um, if x is a certain value, then do these specific things. So we started introducing um, these comparison operators, which are these, right? So you have the greater than, equal, and the less than. You got to see those in the activity. You already are familiar with the mathematical operators, so the plus, minus, times, division, square root, etc. We are going to be looking at these three operators that are really, really useful, really, really important. And we call them Boolean operators, right? Boolean operators. So these three operators right here, this and, this or, and this not. These three operators are going to be extremely, extremely important. So what we have is this concept called logical truth. It's called logical truth. And basically what happens is we use these operators to help simplify a lot of arguments that happens within code. And we simplify it by making these true or false statements. And these and, or, and not Boolean operators allows us to create these true or false statements. So let's look at an example. So I'm gonna spread these out real quick because we're gonna be playing with these a little bit. And again, it's going to be a little confusing. I am going to post a logic table in our classroom in Schoology. So I'll post a logic table in your reference sheet, and I'll link it to the agenda so that you can go back and see it. You're gonna have to look at it a couple of times. After you do it a bunch of times, it will make sense. But we're gonna start off with just something very simple. So this and statement compares two different pieces of information, right? It compares two different pieces of information. It typically is going to compare like either some values or some arguments um, with some operators, right? So let's use this one. So let's use this less than operator, right? And I can put them inside here. If you see their hexagon, that means that there's a hexagon there. I can drop hexagon blocks in there, as you can see. So right now, since we don't have no value in there, it's going to say false because it doesn't know what to compare, right? But we can compare some information. So let's say if 3 is less than 5 and 4 is less than 6. Now, what we have is two different statements, right? We have this 3 less than 5 and 4 less than 6, right? For an and statement, what it wants to know is, are both of these statements true? So is 3 less than 5? Yes, it is, right? And is 4 less than 6? That is correct as well. So this is a true statement. This is a true statement. So when I run this, is going to give me a true, right? So it lets me know that both of these are true. This function is true. Now, let's change this. Let's change this to 6. Is 6 less than 5? No. But 4 is still less than 6, right? That's correct, right? So that means this statement right here is false, and this statement is true. When I click on this, it should give me a false statement. Why? Because one of these is false. And because one is false, the entire function is now false. So I click on it and it's false, right? If I switch this around, let's say if I do, if this is, if 6 is less than 5, it is not, and 7 is less than 6. Those are both false statements, so I'm going to get a false response, right? So what we're trying to get is a true or false response. In any case, what I have is both of these, right? Both arguments, both arguments, can't spell, needs to be true to get an output that is true. So both arguments, we can call these inputs, needs to be true to get an output that is true. That is the only time you get a true statement. You can get a true output for an AND statement when we're using a Boolean operator with AND. It's the only time. Both arguments need to be true inside of here for us to get a true statement. If we don't get it true. It's false. All right. So OR is going to be a little bit different. So OR means one or the other, right? So that means that both of these do not have to be true, right? One can be true, and if one is true, the function is true, right? So let's see. Let's run it again. Let's look these right here. So is 3 less than 5? Yes. Is 4 less than 6? Yes, it is. So because both of these statements are true, we're going to get a true output. All right, so I click on it, I get a true output. Now, watch this. Is 6 less than 5? No. But is 4 less than 6? Yes. So one of these is true, so I should get a true output. Boom, I got a true output because one of these is logically correct, right? 4 is less than 6. 6 is not less than 5, but 4 is less than 6, and therefore this block will give me a true function or a true statement. Now, I can flip that around. I can put this over here. And I'm still going to get a true statement. Now, is 7 less than 6? It is not. And is 6 less than 5? No. So since neither one of these are true, I'm going to get a false statement now. So what does that mean? Whatever inputs I put in, I'm going to put this comment here. One input must be true. One input must be true for the operator to give an true output. Right? And that's what we want. We're trying to get either a true or false output, right? So one input must be true for the operator to give a true output. If both are false, you will get a false output. All right. In this not one, This not one is going to be a little bit confusing, right? So it's kind of like backwards. So if it's not this, then it is true. And if it is that, then it's false. So let's see how that works. So again, we're going to use these same operators. So is 7 less than 6? It is not less than 6, right? It is not less than 6. So 7 is not less than 6, right? This makes it a true statement, right? Because that is logically correct. 7 is not less than 6, right? But is 5 less than 6? 5 is less than 6. It is not greater than 6, right? It is not greater than 6, right? So because of that, this right here is now a false statement, which is going to give me a false output. Now that is going to be confusing. You're not going to use the not one as often, but you will see it, right? You will use the and or a lot of times. You will not use the not often. You will use it occasionally. We'll use it in times where we're like, hey, if we do not want this equation to be this value, as long as it's not this value, everything is true, right? So long as we'll have some type of formula, or we'll have some type of, matter of fact, we will have a recursion. We will create a recursion formula where we will have a not statement. We'll use a Boolean not operator where it says as long as it is not this number, then the entire program should run. Once it hits that number, then the program stops or the program restarts of some sort. All right, so let's put this note on here. This one. So, so add a comment. All right, so this one is if the statement is not true, then a true output is given. Then a output of true is given. If the statement is true, then we get a false output. All right, so we are going to be playing with these operators along with many other with our assignment for today and tomorrow, and it is called triangles of all kind. You will write a program that will let the user give you some information about a triangle, or you will ask you'll ask the user some questions about a triangle. They will input that information, and you will use these Boolean operators to determine what type of triangle they are describing. We will also go further by actually trying to build the triangles that they're describing. So we're going to write some really in-depth code. That's why this is going to take 2 days. Please take your time and try to understand what you're doing. And also, please make sure that you are responding paragraph form to the questions at the end of the activity. I'm seeing some people who are just giving one sentence, like 10-word responses, etc. You are not getting credit for that. I need to see your thought process. You should be explaining your thought process in your writing. All right. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy the next 2 days of work. I will check in. I will create the Padlet again. Please make sure you're commenting on a Padlet. I jumped on and responded to some individuals. Hopefully that helped. But please use the Padlet to pass information or share information. All right. Have a good one.